Joe Edelman with Osmosi here. In this video, we'll provide some examples of how you can use our data to inform your long-term or fundamentals-based investments in the pharmaceutical and biotech market. With our models of risk and value for clinical treatments and development, you can gain greater insight into a company's pipeline, adding valuable context to what you might be hearing about them in the news. You can also use our data to identify companies which may be a strategic fit on a number of dimensions, helping you get in front of possible M&A activity. When you're backtesting our data, we will provide you with the Python code necessary to extract exactly what you need from our collection of 100+ data elements. A selection of basic trial information is shown in this example, however, you can easily tailor these reports further. Along with this basic descriptive information, such as the trial's phase, status, and treatment information, you can also find the risk and value information that we assign to each trial. We provide a non-risk-adjusted estimate of the value of the trial's active treatment for the disease area in which it's being applied, based on a number of factors including the novelty of the treatment, disease burden, and the number of previous trials conducted for that treatment in the disease. We also assign two probabilities: the likelihood that the trial makes it to the next phase from its current one, as well as the likelihood that the treatment in question receives FDA approval and is launched commercially. In the end, we can then compute a risk-adjusted value estimate for the trial by multiplying the non-risk-adjusted score by the probability of launch. With this information provided for each trial, we can then create a number of aggregated views to help summarize the companies in the market, in this case by the broader therapy areas that they are active in. This heat map shows the non-risk-adjusted value totals in each therapy area for each of the top 20 companies by value. A view like this can make it easy to identify trends or clear gaps in value for the key players. This view is the risk-adjusted equivalent of the previous heat map. Embedded risk can also play a significant role in the pipeline, as evidenced by the change in rank order for several companies within the top 20, which we'll illustrate further later. Of course, the companies included and the breakdown category can be further customized to your liking, for example in this case by drilling deeper into more specific disease areas or treatment types. As mentioned previously, this table summarizes from the above how the ranking of the top 20 companies by value changes on a non-risk-adjusted and risk-adjusted basis, which can give you a sense of where each company currently stands on the clinical risk spectrum. Another way to visualize value is by breaking it down by the phase of development for each company, as shown in this table. Looked at one way, this gives a sense of which companies' pipelines are the closest to maturity, but it also illustrates who may have gaps in earlier development to backfill, which could imply an eagerness for a company to acquire smaller competitors in the near term at a premium. To help us determine who these larger companies may buy, we can then conduct correlation analyses between their value strongholds and those of smaller enterprises that may have early development assets in similar areas. For example, this heat map shows a correlation score between the Phase 3 value distribution by disease area for each of the top 20 oncology companies against the Phase 1 and 2 value distribution of a number of possible acquisition targets. A maximum score of 200 indicates a perfect positive correlation and therefore a pair of companies who might be a good fit together, whereas a score of 100 is zero correlation and a score of 0 is a perfect negative correlation. From this type of view, multiple potential targets and their possible bidders can become clear. We can repeat this exercise in other therapy areas such as immunology, where fewer alternatives checking the boxes might exist, or redefine the search criteria in any number of ways such as specific disease areas or mechanisms of action. Companies like the two shown here that fit on both oncology and immunology dimensions with a number of larger companies may become the most attractive targets. To help further inspect the drivers of value for these companies, we can construct summary tables such as this, which illustrate the spread of trial activity and compounds in development by phase, as well as by showing the top compounds and disease areas by value for these companies. We can then take this even a step further and begin to look for predicted catalyst dates for the key compounds of these companies. In this case, catalyst dates signify the expected date of results announcements upon completion of a trial, rather than trial starts as shown in our other short-term strategy videos. This can give you a sense of when in the near term the value represented in the scores for these companies might be further actualized by the market or potential acquirers. There are many other ways to utilize our data to complement your fundamental investing, and we'd love to hear your feedback on this and other analyses. Be sure to check out our other videos in this series, including several short-term hold strategies based on clinical trial start activity. Thank you.